Hello everyone. Today our topic of discussion would be from lesson 2.1 about polynomial functions. The whole module is based on polynomial functions. Even module 3 talks about various characteristics about polynomial functions. So basics are required. As you can see from your EOT, there are two questions coming up. So again, this is for total 8 marks, which are good to go and easy. You can manage. So what is there? Let's see. Both questions are about graph and analyze. Analyze means what is the behavior of the graph, what graph tells me about where it is cutting which axis and how it is behaving, like up and down, something like that, okay? And the basic things again about domain and range also. So we will discuss few things about some types of functions. To start with, I will talk about power functions first. So how does power functions looks like? They are again also a polynomial functions, but how they look like is this type. F of x will be equal to some number and a variable with a power. That's it, with a power like an exponent. And this power and this number changes the meaning of the function. It tells the different name, it tells the different characteristics of the function. As you can see, there is some image down there, so we will talk about that. But before that, we need to talk about something very basic about a polynomial function, which is about degree and leading coefficient. So to understand this, let's keep a small example here. 7x power 6 minus 8x power 3 plus x power 9 minus x plus 3. Just a random polynomial. Now, if the question says, what is about the degree and the leading coefficient? So, degree means I am going to talk only about exponents, which is the powers, okay? But which kind of power? It is the highest of all. My polynomial should always be in the order from high power to the low power. So if you are in confusion, make sure you write them in the polynomial in the correct form. So if you can see, these are the powers. No power means there is one, and here is nothing means this is zero, like x variable with zero power. So here, if I want to rewrite this again from the order, it should be x power 9, then plus 7x with 6, minus 8x with cube, minus 8x plus 3. Now if I look at it, then it says the degree, which is the highest power, it becomes how much? Degree 9. So this answer would be 9 here. And if I talk about leading coefficient, if you know what are coefficients, so coefficients are nothing but the numbers with the variables. The numbers with the sign also we can talk about. So numbers with the variables. So now leading coefficient means the one coefficient which is leading the polynomial. So if I want write in the proper order, so leading coefficient will turn out to be the coefficient with the highest power, because that is how the polynomial is leading. Okay. So here the answer would be for this one 1. Reason, if there is no number, I take it as 1. Do not put 0 because 0 means the term is not there. So we will put it 1. I hope it's clear now. So based on this leading coefficient and degree, we can define the type of a power function. So there are two types a degree can be. As you know, this power can be, examples for this can be like 2x cube or 3x power 5 or minus 4x power 2. All these are power functions only. But now what is the difference? Maybe sometimes the number is positive, sometimes it's negative. The coefficient, here it's only one coefficient, so leading and coefficient the same thing. X power 2, x power 3 and x power 5. So there are cases what we have, and the cases are based on the powers: even power, odd power, positive number, the coefficient, or negative number. Okay. So here, if I talk about even power can be 2, 4, 6 and so on. This one can be 1, 3, 5 and so on. Easy to understand. But how the shape changes, look carefully. Whenever it is an even power of a polynomial, the graph can go anywhere. But where is the graph ending is the major concern here. The ending of the graph for even power will always be either both up or either both will be down. That's the special thing about it. So if it's both up, now when it is both up, when the coefficient I talk about is positive, and here the coefficient I talk about is negative. So easy to remember, with even power, both are up and down, up when it's positive, down when it's negative. But one thing we need to learn for odd power, here it can be different, that when it's positive, it is starting from down and going up. It is starting from down and going up. That's how we remember. And for coefficient negative, it is starting from up and going down. So this thing you have to remember. And a very another thing which is important, that both ends are in different directions. Both the ends are in different directions. Here also different directions. So that is one key point to choose an answer from the options. All right. Now next thing here is, if you can see, something is written about x infinity minus infinity. So this small thing is nothing but talking about the behavior, how graph behaves at end points. Only I'm talking about end points, end behavior, which means if x is going 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on up till infinity, where is the y points going on? So if this is here, it's here. Again, please keep checking what am I doing. It's going up, and it will keep going up, 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 which means if x is going towards plus infinity, the values are increasing. My fx, which is nothing but y-axis, will also go to up, which is plus infinity. And in the other case, when we go opposite, when x is going negative side, so this is negative side, this is positive side, this is here negative, and here positive. So if it's going negative, 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 again the graph is going up, which means it is going positive. Same thing in even power, when the coefficient is negative, both are going to the opposite side. So here fx going negative, fx going negative, no matter where x is going. Okay. But when we look at the odd power functions, we have to be little careful about our recall memory, that where am I starting from? So if it's a positive coefficient, I have to start from down to up. And if you just make this random graph and then you check end behavior. So make sure the end behavior means you check the arrows at the end of the graph. So this arrow I'm talking about, very important where it is going. So here, if x is going to negative infinity, so check x going to negative infinity, the fx is going down, means negative infinity. If fx is going, sorry, if x is going plus infinity, it's going up, plus infinity. So the point is, if you know what is the graph, where is the graph going, if you know how the graph is looking, you can manage on your own about end behavior. So my first task is to know how the graph looks like. I hope this one is clear. With this, there is one small thing added in your book and everything, like the questions you will see, they talk about domain and range, which are nothing but the same thing which we are studying right now. Domain is nothing but the x values. I call it also input, that what values I give to x, and then I get some answer which is y values, and I call this output, answer. So y values are nothing but fx values. Don't be confused, it's the same thing. Fx means x, we apply the function, we get an answer. So we give the input, we get the output. So that is what it is. So here if I talk about domain and range, so domain is all the x values. So if I'll write here about domain, how in exam they can give you the answer. Domain can be like used as letter D. For this you can write x is going from all. X is full number line. So I will say from minus infinity to plus infinity. But if you look at fx, it is only the positive part, which means range for this above function I'm talking about would be from 0 to infinity, no negative. But if you look down, domain would be here again same. As you can see, domain has no problem for all of the functions. We will always give x all the values as we can. But depending on the graph, the answer can change. This is nothing but the answer of the graph or the function. So fx, the range, we can change, and it can be here. This one is opposite here now. This one is from, where it is from? Minus, if you see, minus infinity, minus infinity. From 0, it's going here. So 0, I'm going till minus infinity. Or you can say from minus infinity to 0. This would be the better thing. Is it fine? I'm going from 0 and I'm going all down, down, down. The answers are given down. I hope this makes sense now. Same like domain and range here, what it will be. For odd, it's very simple. Domain is all real numbers, range is also all real numbers. For odd, it's easy because you can see I'm taking all the x values, I'm taking all the y values. Is it fine? Now let's see the question from your EOT as it says in the book. So if you know these questions are coming with or without graph, so you should know first of all that this is even, and for example this is odd. Another thing you should know that how the coefficient is. So when it's even, you should know either it will go up or down. For odd, it can be from down to up or up to down, both direction. Because for odd this is negative, so I know my graph will go like this. That's it. This much I should know. For even, I know it's positive, my graph will go like this. I should just know how the graph behaves. So now if I talk about the end behavior part, it says describe the end behavior using leading coefficient and degree, state the domain and range. So end behavior, if you understand, domain and range will be the same part. You can match it from the up thing. So not to repeat here, I think it would be okay to understand. Here you can write for question number 1, you can write like this: as x tends to minus infinity, fx tends to plus infinity, right? And as x tends to plus infinity, fx still tends to plus infinity. And domain can be treated as same, minus infinity to infinity all, and range from 0 to plus infinity. Is this fine? Because it's in multiple choice question, so there would be an option with this full line. What do you want to choose? So be careful in choosing because sometimes you don't look at the minus sign and it might be wrong. For odd, it will be different. If x is going plus, if x is going down. If x is going minus, x is going plus. Is it fine? So you can choose as it is, same as these questions. If I look at the example, sorry, if I look at this question number 5, which is a word problem, so nothing to be scared of. It, as it says in multiple choice, you can still see that this is a type of function which is we call as even function. Even power function. You can see the leading coefficient is 4 by 3, which is positive. So you know how it will look like. Again, it will be open up. I hope it's fine. Now, if I look at question number 6, there's a big example, like big polynomial, and who knows how to draw the graph and what to do. So whenever there is a function and you have to draw any kind of graph, you are using calculator, you can always make a table for the values. And once you know values of x and fx, you can plot them and get a graph. But if I just randomly tell you about how this graph should look like, because it's which power? Highest power is odd. So I know it will end in different directions because it's the positive leading coefficient. I know it will end in different directions starting from, as you can see from up, down to up when it's positive. Only this much I know. But look, if you say the graph is this, it's a wrong answer. We don't know what is the graph. We cannot tell the graph like this. For this, we need to draw with the values. But I can tell that, one will end up, one will end down, like that. So this much should be sufficient. So if I talk about domain and range here, it's the simplest thing. It's an odd function. So for domain, my answer will be again all real numbers. I call this all real numbers as well. In exam, they can give you anything. And range would be same, minus infinity to infinity. Because the graph is going up and down, the graph might be from like going from here to here or anywhere, but like that we can have an answer. Okay, it can go anywhere in the middle, which we don't know, but we can know how it will end and start. Is this fine? For the graph thing, how you want to draw, if you want to be sure of, I can tell you using a calculator. You can go to the table value section. So if here is the calculator, you can go to the mode, there's a table option. Now in both of the type of calculator, it might be a number, you can see a table is made, or the last number 9. So check where is the table format in your question. You see fx will pop up on the top, and put the function now. So you can put function x cube. Next is plus 3x square Is it fine? Then you put minus 18x minus 40. You do this, you press equal, you get gx. So you don't have another function, no need to press equal. And they ask which point you would like to start from. For example, x, what would you like to give? So you can start from minus 5. It's always better to take negatives also and positives and 1 0. So I will start from negative 5. I will end at 5. And the steps I want is 1, which means minus 5, the next point is minus 4, then minus 3. And the points are like this. I've got my points here now. Gx is not the function there, so no need to look at gx. We'll look at only x comma fx. Now we can plot these points and start our graphing, and we can get the graph. This you only have to do when it's required. This method we have used in lesson 3.1 where we have to graph and solve the equations. So hopefully we get a graph in exam. If not, if you want to recheck something, you can always do like this. Okay. So I will show when the question is needed as such. Now if I